an argument that the American style is more emotional?
Well, I think it may be. I think it's a desire for spontaneity, really. I mean, the method was something that tried to insist on a reality and a spontaneity, which I think is absolutely valid and really useful, and all that can be fed into the British training. If the British have a tendency, it will be towards too much demonstration, and over-respect. You can have over-respect for the language as well, so that kind of gets in the way, and you lose a kind of a presentness, which is really what is fundamental to empathy from an audience watching a play or watching a film. They want to be transported into the present, into a different relationship that's happening, that they can, sympathize with. And I mean, it's really, Shakespeare wrote his subtext. People spoke in soliloquy, in monologue, and shared their subtext. The whole method is about looking beneath the line. And the danger in that is that people, as I say, become less than like, this kind of grunt and groan, and you can't simply ask for a cup of coffee without,
It's like what David Mamet calls hub acting. It's kind of
without tearing you. Do you have coffee? And you think, just say the line, just say it hard for a cup of coffee. Be articulate. And people, I think, are much more articulate in real life than they are on film. I mean, look at us, we can hum and haw a bit, but basically we get our sentences roughly right and we express ourselves.
There is a big difference between film acting and stage acting. What was the difference for you?
I don't think there is a huge... I think that acting is acting. Acting is truth. And what you're trying to achieve is truth. So once you say, oh, well, there's a huge difference between film and theatre, then I don't quite know what that means. I think ultimately
in a close-up, you just raise an eyebrow. On a stage,
yeah, obviously, technically, there's different things, because on a stage you have to be heard, and the concentration that's required is different to, say, film, because on film you're required for a certain amount of time, for maybe half an hour, where it's very intense and everyone's focused on you, and then you have to go away and you have to sustain it for another, say, 6 hours while they light another scene, and then you come on and you do for that particular amount of time. So it requires a different energy and a different concentration. Whereas on stage, the minute you step on, you've got to be completely concentrated until the minute you walk off. And that's, technically that's fantastic to be able to do both, because I think it challenges you both ways. You can become very lazy when you're working on film. But I do think that ultimately, acting is about truth and about text and about all those things, whether you're on film, whether you're on stage. And I think once you start saying, well, we've got to be bigger, or we've got to be for stage, then it starts to become acting, which is not something that I enjoy watching. I think you're looking to believe. And whether that's on film or whether that's on stage, you want to believe.
I think the great thing is that they complement one another really well. I think there are really useful things that you glean from film that you can bring to theatre and vice versa, and it is dangerous to kind of create a divide. And as I say, spontaneity is a really useful thing to bring into the theatre. I see too much dead theatre, I see stuff that seems archaic or seems remote or seems like it looks like it was said exactly the same way yesterday. That, as I say, doesn't transport you as it should. In the same way that I think theatre and training for theatre, doing theatre shows, gives you a structure as an actor. Through a piece you get used to looking at a text as a whole, dealing with it thematically, looking at where your role falls within that, and shaping it, creating arcs for your character. And for film, you're in this very kind of sporadic, bitty process, and it's really useful to kind of have the objective sense of the whole. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's exactly, because one is obviously on a stage piece, it's linear. You go from A to B.
Yeah.
And this way, because film, they're shooting all over, and you say, wait a minute, oh, this is the scene in which I do.
That's
and right. What happened before this, which we shot 3 days ago?
Exactly.
Also, on film, you are at the mercy of the editor and the director.
Yeah.
And on stage, you're
That's a
not.
very good point.
I think one of the wonderful things about theatre is that at some point the audience become one. They come in as different people. And the great thing is at the point where they become an audience, and the thoughts that you're thinking, they're thinking with you. The tears you shed, the laughter you feel, that this is with you. And in that dead silence they're with you. And I have a feeling, in my own belief, that's a little touch of eternity. Where there is that union, and you'll never get that in a studio.
Yeah.
You've gone away.
Which is
and
an
then you've
experience you live through each night with people. That's what theatre means to me.
It's wonderful, special.
You went away from Miss Saigon and now you've come back.
Yeah.
How has it changed
It's
for
more
you?
fun now for me.
Why?
Okay, when I first did the part in London, I guess I had lived quite, not exactly a sheltered life, but certainly not a very experienced one as a person. I was 18 when I started in the part, and I'd never had a serious love relationship at the time. And it affected the way everything I did on stage. I was the stiffest thing in rehearsal. You could sweep the floor with me if you held me upside down. So I had a leading man who said, "You have to trust me. You have to trust me." I had the director tell me, "You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to do this." And it seemed to have carried all the way when I came here. Although I got more used to doing things on stage. But now it's just any night anything can happen, and you just don't know what kind of chemistry you and your leading man and everybody else in the show, and even with the audience, you don't know what kind of chemistry is going to, you know, pop up in this pressure cooker in this particular night. But I had a question for you, because I didn't do as many straight plays, say, as you have. It's mostly been a musical theater experience with Les Mis and with Saigon. Do you find that when you sing every day in the same tempo, the text falling in the exact same spots every night, how do you find your own spontaneity within the very set?
Yeah, it is quite rigorous, the the constraint within singing, and it is quite hard. I find it difficult to do, and it kind of got in the way of my imagination, really. But I think there is room still within music, within singing, to find spontaneity, in the same way that Shakespeare has a kind of rigorousness to it as well. There's a text that you have to really respect, and the iambic pentameter kind of insists on certain things. But even so, within that, I think if the thoughts are fresh and the emotion is real and is present for you, then it will come out differently. It will kind of.
Could I ask a question of my fellow actors? That in this particular role I play, much of the time I'm deeply hated by the audience. And I find it has an effect on me. I do not believe in going out and playing a part like that and trying. You must not look for the sympathy of the audience. If they give it, fine. But I find sometimes people come on the street and they say, "I hate you." I haven't hated anyone since I hated Iago. And then, I'm quite, well, my friends tell me I'm quite a pleasant one. And I find it hard to take in my own persona.
Right.
I feel I want to go out and say at the end, "Look, I really am not like this." Well, I think I am.
Well, when you see the poster, that's what happens. The first impression you get.
Yes,
The waves of hate.
I know. But you must feel reassured at the curtain call. Must kind of take
you
the
smile
sting
and
out of it.
Well, when you go out on the street, there's someone waiting
They're
for you.
waiting for you to kind of.
With a
I think,
poker.
yeah, be a sort of mixed
With a poker,
feeling.
yeah.
You know, it's very complimentary as well.
Well, yes, it is,
In a way.
but it just hits your subconscious.
I know, kind of. You
I'll
just
get a
wait.
chat with the bell. When you're playing heroines and Nicole
and I'm dead at the end of the
heroines,
show.
She's dead too.
Dead at the end of the show.
Could I ask about how you work with an English audience or an Australian audience or an American audience? How do you change your craft, or is the craft always there and you just adjust to the audience's
I don't
reaction?
think you really adjust to the audience.
You-
You just play it as truthfully as you possibly can, and then just hope for the best.
Would you say that